The stress.
It's crazy.
I was like, the stress. This project.
No.
I thought I'd seen it all. This project has been
I think you've seen it all.
unbelievable.
With this project now, we've seen it all. In addition to the gas.
That's what happens. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
All right, do your thing.
We're good. We're good.
So,
We're rolling.
Over the last week here now, we've insulated everything. We are in the process of trying to like wrap up final inspections. We've got we went through our electrical, we went through plumbing, and we got a little held up on mechanical. They want to see a line set for the HVAC, so we're getting that banged out today. Last finishing touches before we get drywall coming in 2 days, and then we get to start to see some of these finishes. On every project, it always looks like there's nothing done until drywall hits, so we're really excited to get to that point.
No. I just sent you a note, but about getting a copy of our fire sprinkler permit for 1544 9th Street. I just got off the phone with Rick.
Our GM, who is putting a nice, beautiful spread out here, in the most fancy outfit ever made for 100-degree weather in Washington, D.C. Clearly a New Yorker at heart.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So this week we got most of our, don't stand on that wall, I just painted it. We got most of our equipment done in this bar here, so everything's in its place. Had to move some electrical, which is always fun.
They did move everything?
Yeah, they moved everything.
On the
That's why
bottom?
it's sitting so tight.
Oh, nice. I didn't even
At the end of this
notice
month and get permits, yeah. And then we can open up our reservation line, and then kind of address everything from there.
What do you think, halfway through October?
And then we've got all of next month for training and that sort of thing.
Well, hopefully...
Training and friends and family is kind of going to go hand in hand, so hopefully we can do some softy soft.
Well, hopefully all this nonsense with water can happen.
Yeah, we need some water and gas first.
You know, like hopefully that stuff can happen during this next month.
Yeah.
So that once all of the inside is done, we can be signed off on that too. Get our inspections by September, first week, second week of September, and then that 2 week.
We can probably get all the inspections by the end of the month. I mean,
if water comes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Water and gas comes.
Water and gas.
Well, just knowing that they're like in the process helps us open up reservation lines for like November.
Yeah.
Yes, if we can say November 1 is our day.
Well, we can, no.
Or
No.
for
Let's not get carried away.
no, for when we open it up, because we'll have those first couple weeks not on tickets.
You're talking, yeah, for tickets from there on out. But like if we get closer and we know we're gonna get inspection, and then we have a few weeks of training scheduled and that sort of thing, then we can just start opening up the lines for reservations from then to there, and not like, I mean, then I guess we could probably just go ahead and open it up a month earlier if we needed to online too. Like,
Yeah, well,
we're not stuck to that being like the opening date.
Yeah.
So, but I think we should go ahead and open up for the rest of the year, like November on, and then if possible, we could bring it all the way up to like the last week of September if we needed to, or first week of October.
So maybe it can be like two-phased.
Yep.
The stress, like I think that on this project we've like known real stress, and you know, a lot of people always look at entrepreneurs as these guys that have gotten lucky, and these guys that like stuff has just fallen in their lap, and like that is not the case. Like people only see the end. You know, when you're successful, they don't see the process of work. It's like it's like if they never saw it, it's like the work didn't exist. And I think, you know, the process for us has been quite stressful. So you know, I always feel like never say that to an entrepreneur. You know, like, well, you know, you got to go through this stress to understand what it's like.
Some people will never know, because they'll never be able to go down that path, because it takes a lot of balls to even take that first step, and then to actually continue that first step takes even more, because it's like, it's just, you just need to continue on because.
Well, this has been a stressor in the way of like, think of where we started with the concept for the restaurant. Even the concept of the restaurant has changed drastically over the past 18 months or so, and it's been, one thing that's led to another, that's led to another, that's led to what we currently are looking at. But this whole idea was not what we wrote down on paper,
what you signed up for
2 years ago when we signed up for this. And just the stress of figuring out how to execute at a level where we find it to be satisfactory has been, for me, that stress of like Kwame going on Top Chef and then all these publications, and then now the stress for me is execute.
Yeah, I think it's been a brilliant process because we like started in a spot and just like grown it.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see where this actually ends up in the process. Because I just think it's so brilliant. Like, I mean, we've all learned different processes from each other and tied those together to like make this very innovative dining experience. And I'm excited.
Like I tell people all the time, we have a core group of partners on this project. Unlike any other group that I know of, I'm sure that there's something out there. There's other, partners in business that are like us. But to have the 4 different, backgrounds and aspects, of looking at this, you from your design and, entrepreneurship background and how you got yourself building your business, and then you with the, your government side and like all the technicals and financials side of things, and then Kwame's creative cooking side of things, and then my, service and hospitality aspect. And then you throw those into one room and try and come up with one concept. How many things have we not agreed upon, and how many things have we had to talk each other through and get each one to understand, and throwing your perspective off of my perspective, off of your perspective, off of Kwame, his perspective. Like, it's only created this like brilliant product on the back end of things, that people still don't even really know what that product is, and they won't know until our doors are actually open and they're able to experience it for themselves, because you can't read on paper the actual feeling you're going to get from being in these doors. That's the coolest thing about it.
The most surprising part of this process for me was I've dealt with the federal government, and they are very slow when it comes to doing things. And I thought like there was a glimmer of hope. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but that the DC government would be the same, but it's been like every hoop imaginable. I've learned a lot, which is good, so I'll know what to do for the next project, but that was the most surprising of how difficult it is and the perseverance you need to kind of get through things, because if not, like literally this process can break you down, and it can affect the people around you and the entire project. So keeping your head up and keeping your eyes on the prize.
I've been really surprised just at how many different hands are in the pot for making sure that all of the things are in place. I guess having never done this for me, the fact that it's like 10 different offices that have to sign off on, every single thing, and then they all are, working, separately from one another. There doesn't seem to be one cohesive way of executing this. That's been, I would have imagined that it would have been like one office that says, hey, your permits for all this stuff are good, and go, as opposed to WASA and DCRA and the list goes on. That was definitely surprise. What do you think, Kel?
I thought that was a good answer.
What's surprising to you?
Nothing. Well, this was exactly how it was.
I don't believe you.
So my answer.
So, like one of the things I'm excited about on this project is being able to go through entrepreneurship with people for the first time. I liken it to a drug. The first one is always the best, and you're basically always in search of that feeling again. So it's really great to be able to go through it again and watch you guys get to go through it and go through that process, because I think entrepreneurship for me is always this beautiful thing, because I came from kind of humble beginnings, and it was my way out.
Yeah.
And I took that really, really seriously, and so for me it really, really embodies independence.
Well, it's been a very freeing feeling for me to be able to be a part of the actual inner workings of what happens before you actually get into the restaurant and get into the inner workings of service, to be a part of going through and going to the zoning hearing meeting and getting to do some of that stuff has been
zoning hearing, actually, funny enough, that's probably the one thing on this project where pure elation, it's finally this one hurdle, which was a giant hurdle, was cleared.
It could have stopped us
and
from doing. We could have.
It would have.
October 6th very easily could have been a date where we just changed locations and had to restart this whole thing.
Yeah, so that was a huge win for us. I mean, I literally walked out of the courtroom and broke down, for the first time, and it was just looking back, it's just such a great feeling, so that was beautiful. That was a good one for me.
It's so crazy that it's already almost been a year.
I know.
Since then.
It's been, what's crazy is it's been almost 2 years since we started this project.
We started it, yeah.
So.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels like it's been so long.
Yeah.
When Kelly
it's
said,
been fun though. Kelly, one of the first things that you said was this is going to take time. You're gonna just need to hold yourselves back.
Pace
yourselves, and that's been the hardest part for me. Having to my going through what my job is on a daily basis. I need all of this to be done to really get to do anything. So.
Yeah, I think back after the hearing, we're oh, it's gonna be approved real soon, and we'll open in January, February, and then, I was talking with Kelly. I was I wouldn't sign up to anything but maybe August, and I was August, and here we are in August.
August 2nd.
And still on that path, but
Yeah, I think. I think the space is gonna be done.
Yeah.
This month, I think their space is gonna be done. And be details at the end of the month, and it's going to be a busy month, but there's going to be a lot of movement here in the next few weeks. So that was now you're more or less forgiving of your old bosses and how they managed and ran their restaurant.
I think the behind the scenes aspect of running a restaurant is really interesting. It's there's so many dynamics to it, and obviously this is my first time doing it. But with the level of training, per se, that I've gone through since getting into working in the dining room, I'm almost less forgiving of things because I know how little effort it actually takes to go the extra step, to go the extra mile.
How little it takes to care about something.
It's literally the aspect of caring a little bit more than the next person.
Yeah.
Because the behind the scenes of so many restaurants, the things that people miss they're all small and they're all subtle. Very rarely do you go out to a meal and ever have a terrible experience. The terrible experience is only ever if you have a bad server that's not paying attention to you or something like that. But it's the little things. It's the, are you making sure that all the glassware is, cleared off the table and the water glasses are full? Or is the manager making sure that, the staff is getting off the time that they're requesting, and making it work for the staff members and not just for them, So in that aspect, I'm less forgiving because how, it's obviously a big picture thing, but it's very small efforts that need to be taken in little areas to actually get a great product.
Right on. Kind of started to finalize this back stairwell where the guests will be walking down from the upstairs into the kitchen and having a course down there. We're gonna do a kind of stalactite fixture, if you will, hanging from the ceiling here that will kind of illuminate the back stairwell. Shows you the detail of every little aspect of this, but this is just a back stairwell, and I'm really taking the design seriously on this, and we're gonna have some fun with the lighting and and it'll be just as sexy as the rest of the place.
It's going to be a beautiful little corridor for the guests, you know, that are not thinking that they're going to be taken straight down into the kitchen, to come from the bar and then taking them in the back of the restaurant down into the kitchen space. You know, we almost couldn't not keep the design, you know, as tight as possible.
And I think one of the things that we're thinking about here is once a guest comes into the building, we want them to feel like this is home. I don't care if they're in the dining room or if they're in the lounge upstairs, the membership. We want them to be able to go wherever they want in the building and be comfortable doing so.
Well, to that, you know, we're bringing you into our home. The Shaw Bijou is our home, and we're taking you on a, you know, culinary tour, you know, throughout, you know.
Yeah. And if they want to go downstairs and do dishes, they can go downstairs and do dishes.